Hi, my name is Mitch with FarmBlocks. Today we're going to show you how to set up the base station version 2. So today we'll talk about mounting your base station, how to mount it wherever you want. We'll talk about placing the antennas on your base station, and we'll talk about the different powering options you have and how to attach those different options. And then we'll round out by talking about where to place the base station for optimal coverage for your devices on your farm. The first thing we're going to talk about is mounting your base station. So in your box you will have a mounting bracket. It looks like this, right? It's going to come apart into two pieces. They slide together and separate. Okay? One of these pieces is going to mount to your base station, and this other component is going to mount to wherever you're trying to mount it, whether it be on the top of a barn or at the top of a tree, wherever you want to put it. Okay? The piece with the arrow in the middle is going to go to your base station. So you're going to orient your base station such that these two silver antenna attachments are pointed upwards, right? And the up arrow should be pointing towards them. So it's going to sit on your base station just like this. Okay? So you'll have a bag of components that allow you to bolt the mounting bracket to the base station. You're going to take these little fat nuts, put a washer on it, right? And you're going to put it directly into each of the four holes. Right, and you're just going to screw that in. These should be hand tight. So you're going to do that for all four of the bolts. Now that you've mounted your base station, you're going to attach the antennas to it. So on the right post, right, oriented with the face away from me, is my cellular antenna. So your cellular antenna is going to be the smaller of the two antennas that you have, right? And you're going to remove the protective covers inside of it, okay? And you're going to mount it to the base station. And like everything else, you're making it finger tight. We don't want to cinch this down too much. Okay. So that'll be secured on there. And now we'll attach the larger antenna for the connection to the monitors. Similarly, we're going to remove the covers, clean that up later. Okay, and just like the cell antenna, we're making this finger tight. Right, now your antennas are attached. Now that you have mounted your mounting bracket to the base station, it's time to mount the other end of the mounting bracket to whatever surface you're putting it on. So in our demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate mounting it to this post here. Okay. So you're going to orient the mounting bracket such that the arrows are pointed upwards, right? And you have some screw holes here, and you'll just screw directly through in order to mount it, right? Once it's mounted on the post, right, the base station is going to slide in through the slut and sit right in there, okay? And then from here, you'll have two more bolts that you can lock it in with. So you'll send them right through here and here. Those bolts will be these guys. And you can just screw these in hand tight. So now we'll talk about our power options for the base station too. So if you selected the solar panel option and got solar panels in your box, you'll have this cable, right? If you didn't select the solar panel option, we'll talk about those, how to power it in just a second. But this is only for the solar panel option. Right? So you'll find this cable, and you'll take this end of the cable, and you'll attach it to this port. Right? So you'll rotate this such that the button is against the face of the base station, right? And you'll push it until it clicks. Right? And then you'll attach this end to the solar panel, which we'll make another video for and link in the description below. So if you don't have the solar panel option, you'll be powering it over PoE, right? So what you'll find in your box are two Ethernet cables and a PoE injector with a power cable, right? The power cable is going to attach to the PoE injector, just like this. Right? And then you'll have two Ethernet cables. So one of these Ethernet cables on the PoE switch is going to be labeled PoE, and the other is labeled LAN. For the PoE side, this is the side that's going to the base station, right? So you'll plug that in and leave that alone for right now. The other side is going to plug into the LAN port, And this is going to plug in wherever you are supplying internet from. So if you have a router, you'll plug it directly into the router. Right? So the side that's labeled PoE, right, you're going to attach that to the base station now. Get myself a little bit of slack. Now you'll want to follow these steps closely because it's important to create a good seal to protect the inside of the base station. What you'll do is you'll remove the cover from this middle port, right? You'll unscrew that, and you'll set it aside for now. Now inside of here you'll see a gasket, right? You're going to remove that gasket. And now you'll have this hole exposing the Ethernet port. Right? Now on the Ethernet cable on the PoE end of your PoE injector, right, you're going to take the first component that you took off and slide it over the cover. You're going to put that on there like that. And now this gasket that you took out of the port, you're going to wrap it around the cable. Right? So now when you go to attach the Ethernet cable, you'll plug it in and then stick this over and then screw it on so it creates a good seal. Now that your base station is fully set up, we'll talk about some connectivity options and placement on your farm to get the optimal coverage. Right? So back to our PoE injector, if you have the cellular plan through farm blocks, you can disregard the LAN port, so you can take the Ethernet off and it'll work just fine. However, if you don't have the cellular plan, you'll need to attach the LAN side of this to a home router, right? And this will plug directly into your router. Just make sure the PoE side is connected to your base station. If you have the cellular plan, you don't need to do anything in that regard. Okay. Now, when we're talking about placement of the base station on your farm, you want to place it in a high altitude location relative to where your monitors are for optimal coverage. The monitors connect directly to the base station itself, so we need to make sure that they have a good line of sight access to the antenna that the base station is using. This doesn't mean you can't have some tree cover. A little bit of tree cover is okay, but we want to minimize that if at all possible. What you might find is helpful too for connectivity is if you place the monitor on the side of the tree or anywhere on your farm that is facing the base station itself. Right? And generally we don't want to exceed 2 kilometers from the base station for the monitors. Right? If you need more distance, it's best just to add another base station to your farm. So whenever you have all that set up, what you'll do, and before you go put it in the field, you'll want to add it in the app. So what you'll do is you'll open the app and say install a new base station, and when it asks you to tap your phone to the base station, you'll tap it to the bottom right corner. It's the same side with the LEDs. Right? So you'll tap your phone to the base station, and it'll add it in the app. And then you should be all set. It should show as online and active. But if you have any questions or need support, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email at support@farmblocks.ag, and we will assist you as quickly as we possibly can.